Happy Sunday, folks. So I wanted to talk to you today about a partial look into my third pedal, which I'm integrating into the big, massive Helix Floor. Here's the surprise for you. It's the HXSTOMP. So you may say, okay, what's the deal with this? What I've found over my last year or so with the Helix is that many people having the floor will look for a fly rig and they'll go out and get an HXSTOMP. Why? Because you can just copy cutting down, obviously. You can build presets at home on the floor. If you're out at a big gig where you've got the room for the whole floor, you can bring that. But the little stomp is great because you can travel with it easily. It fits on another board. It can integrate into other stuff. But it's missing a number of things. So what this is basically going to cover is what aspects of the floor could you transpose into the stomp if you had both to speed up dialing in amps, dialing in any kind of block you wanted, really. So we're going to go into Command Center and look at it. The inspiration for this was I recently integrated an Iridium, and you can go and see over here or there or wherever, up the top here, a video where I've integrated the Iridium and set the drives and level and bass and all of this stuff to be controlled by the big Helix, even if the big Helix isn't doing anything. And that worked really well. So it got me thinking. Went through the entire MIDI map of the Iridium, and that happens to sit, for the most part, completely outside of all of the MIDI CCs that are being used by the Stomp or the big Helix. So with all of those free, you can simply copy all that work that I did to set up the Iridium, 5, 6, 7 CCs mapped to expression pedals or knobs on the Variax, which this isn't, but on the Variax I can twist that and adjust the drive on the fly, or the level of the amp. So your knobs become a very cool, very fast way of dialing in and tweaking a sound. And when you're home mucking about, you can bring up HXEdit, you've got your computer attached and all that. When you're in rehearsal with other people, they don't want you coming in and spending 20 minutes hooking up a computer, taking up all the space, lining everything up. You know, you kind of don't want to really get into that because then you'll get dragged into tweaking everything. So keep it reasonable. So with this idea of MIDI remotes by a command center, you're using the exact same familiar interface that you have in the Helix Floor command center, and you're controlling the knobs. Let me show you quickly what I'm talking about. Okay, so here I am zoomed in on my little stomp, and what my stomp is doing basically is it's competing with the Iridium. The Iridium can do Vox, Fender, or Marshall, and this can do anything else. But because I'm running out of blocks, you know, there's only a limit of 6. Instead of trying to use this to do both amps in stereo, Iridium takes up the slack, and this can concentrate on one and give me some drives in front and other stuff. So watch the drive button. I'm gonna engage. You notice that's going up to 4.3. Check the bass, jumps to 6.5 or drops off. Pretty cool, yeah? So that's just 2 out of all of these different parameters which you can control. I mean, if you dig your ripple bias and bias XX, or your sag and your hum and all that sort of stuff, more power to you. Go and do it. You can map anything you want, which is pretty cool. So for me, is it back? So for me, that's pretty wow. I'm really actually enjoying having control of those parameters, cranking up the gain or the volume or doing swells and stuff. That to me is really wow, and it only takes a couple of seconds to do. Okay. Very simply, let's go back and have a look. Here on the stomp, get in focus thing. Basically, you just hold in, hit that button. It comes up with the parameters. Let's drive. Normally, it's going to be set to none. If you wanted to, you could run it off the EXPs right here, which are CC1 and 2, or to remote. What a pain, this thing. Back we go. Super sensitive. To remote these things, hold in, push, change it to Midi CC, and I'm going to use the same Midi CC that I've got over here. This is my driving board. Zip over here. EXP2. It's going to Midi channel 4, which is my stomp on channel 13. So I just changed this to CC13. That's set to 4 already. Save. Boom. And now that's working remotely. Pretty cool, yeah? Fun bit is when you're at home doing this, hopefully this will all become one organized tiny little rig. I can set up Woody Masters between here and over here, and both boards can be run remotely, not just from this but also from your bog standard MC6 or this one or the iPad. So you can run all of these together, and the big deal for me is get as much control at your feet or at your hands as possible. This is pretty well much exactly what you can do here. Can you zap that down? There you go. So you can adjust your drives, boosts, brights. You can skip through page back and down, forth. This is what is known as the edit mode on the big Helix floor. So we're basically replicating that for an external amp. And if it works for this external amp or that external amp, it will work for any amp or anything really, any pedal you want that can be controlled by MIDI. Pretty cool, huh? Let's close up then. That's the concept. So here's the actual plan of action. I'm gonna go down, pick a bunch of amps, and start applying these little MIDI CCs to control the drives, so that any of my other MIDI controllers can control that. And you can do that anywhere. You can do that on a big stomp or a floor or any Helix that has those blocks. I'm going to use that as a templating idea. So think of little Lego bricks. You created a Lego brick with legs that can be controlled like a spider. So you can poke here and stump's going to happen. Going forward beyond this, as you're building up your presets for a performance or for experimentation or for whatever it is you want, save all this stuff in your templates folder on the big floor. You can then go into your template, which has 5-6 different amps all geared up, ready to work with MIDI. You can copy that and paste it into a new preset, and off you go. If you wanted to have control over that and an Iridium, you could copy that entire template out, delete the stuff that you don't want, and then start tweaking it with a Variax or with a guitar or with foot pedals or with whatever you want. The entire idea here is to have that kind of control at your fingertips instead of being stuck on screen moving stuff around and tweaking this and tweaking that and saving in computers and all that stuff. You want a system that, boom, lets you get in there and do the same sort of edit mode that you have on the big massive stomp. You could do that for all of your tiny external fly rigs quickly, save it all, go out into the world, and that works. And if you need to tweak again, it's already all set up for you. You can just get in there, or even while you're performing, you can assign an expression pedal to the same CCs preset and have the ability to tweak and fly and adjust your drive on the fly, which is really amazing. So, for other really good ideas like this, go and check out the EXP vid that was done by your boy Jason Sadites. Link up here. Good point of inspiration. He's really good with dialing in amps, but I don't ever see people doing this sort of stuff, and I think it's really cool. So why not? Give it a try. The other really cool thing about this is, if you can save those mods into a Helix preset, you can share that with the world, and other people can take that on and have all of that stuff preset, and then modify it on the fly just by moving a couple of knobs or pedals instead of diving in and doing these deep HX edit sessions, which, if you don't want to be tied to a computer on a lovely Sunday and you just want to sit off and make music and make little tweaks, that's how you could do it. So yeah, if you enjoyed this, like and subscribe. Check out my groups on Facebook, the Line 6 Media Mad Sinus Club, because we do all kinds of stuff like this. You'll find a section there on Helix and Variax, a topic, and all the work that's going into these little projects is being divided up into those presets in the file section, and you can download that, stick it in your Helix, have a play with it. Should be cool, That's what I'm having. Sayonara, I'm out.